Okay, I call the RTC meeting on, what's the date today? November 10th.
December.
2025, December 10th. Thank you, 2025 at 4 p.m. to order. Roll call. Tiffany Sivecki here.
Capel here.
Giardino here.
Right here.
Gabriel here.
Okay. Not present is Dalton and
Donegan.
Donegan. All right. Certify posting of the meeting. Certify that on Monday, December 8th, 2025, the agenda for the joint Rome Town Center Subcommittee and Town Board meeting for Wednesday, December 10th, 2025 was posted at the Rome Town Hall at 11:10 a.m., Quick Trip LLC at 3:55 p.m., Nakusa Port Edward State Bank at 4 p.m., and emailed to the Wisconsin Rapids Tribune at 4 p.m. Right. We'll move on to approve the agenda.
I'll move we approve the agenda as written.
I'll second that.
Move on to citizen comments. Oh, we got to vote on that one. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any naysayers? Oh, all right, now we can move forward to citizen comments. I don't think we received any. Wendy, did you receive any?
I don't have
No? Okay, then we can skip that one. Go on to item number 6, discussion and possible action. Approval of the October 29th, 2025 meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any not in favor? All right, carries. Number 7, discussion and possible action, discussion of the future work and objectives of the RTC Subcommittee and to create a path forward in solidifying the RTC Master Plan. Let discussion begin. All right, so I met with the town board, and this is where this joint meeting came to fruition. Meeting with the town board, the RTC subcommittee wanted to involve the town board and plan commission in just in solidifying what our path forward looks like, what are points in the RTC master plan that we want to address so that we can get that plan solidified and get to work on kind of putting some of those plans into motion. So that's where discussion can begin on just what town board would like to see done, certain items implemented and changed. Oh, it's in here somewhere.
I'll throw something out there for you.
Can you hear me? Emily, Mark, and I had a meeting yesterday with some developers, and they are highly interested in working with basically you guys on developing a community. We talked to them about a 55 and over development, also workforce. And they asked us a lot of questions that we couldn't answer, and I'm going to let Emily carry it on from here, but we're not talking 5 and 10. They were talking units of 50 to 100. These guys are really experienced, but I'm going to turn it over to Emily because she knows a lot more about it than I do.
So basically it would be, I think, mostly age-restricted development, and so the only, I guess, part that wouldn't meet our current code is they're looking for, like Carl said, like 50 to 100 units. Right now our code only allows for, I believe, up to 20 in a single development, but otherwise they're hitting everything else like
Right on.
yeah, right on. It's exactly what kind of what we were discussing at the last meeting and what we're looking for a age-restricted development.
Would it fit in that space between the apartments and the church?
Bill, use your mic.
Yes.
I am. It's on and I got it right in my mouth.
Yeah, it's on. I can see it from here.
No, he's talking about this.
I hear it.
It's on.
Yeah. So, and that's what they said. They're like, what kind of parcels are you looking at? And kind of what they were presenting was like really a very, very well thought out development with layout wise and the buildings itself. So we said, or I said, essentially, we'd work with them to ensure that the space and acreage that they get fits their development appropriately. We didn't see anything. I mean, it was a discussion. It wasn't a
You
presentation.
didn't look at a map and
Yeah,
start
there-
planning it that way?
No,
Okay.
it was a discussion. There was no really anything set in stone, but ideas were out there and talked about.
Okay.
Was this to be one building?
No, a full development with, I don't want to say a number of units, but like a large development of an age-restricted community.
Is it for rent or sale?
Again, it was very preliminary. So then that's something they asked. They said, what do we want? They want to fill the need. So they'd be working with you guys on how they would best fill that need.
If they don't currently meet the town code because of number of units, can it not be phased? And thus meet the code?
Or we change the code?
I mean, yeah, we could change the code, or they could technically do a number of developments where they have one development on one parcel and then they have an additional development on a different parcel. So there are ways to work with them on the layout and design. If really the number of units is the only really setback, we can definitely work with them to ensure that they're fitting what we need.
How many acres are they looking at?
Again, very preliminary. Nothing.
That was my
wasn't
question, Tom, and
discussed.
I don't
Yeah,
think we have an answer yet. We need to sit down with them and start
exactly.
getting into the detail.
Yep.
No, is this just the tip of the iceberg? Because is he looking at, once he starts this, they say, hey, we're working with you guys. We know what you want. We'll start building over here what you want. Did he talk about anything like that?
What do you mean?
Where do you go on beyond one development?
Oh,
I'm asking.
Yeah, right. For example, you were talking about the stores with the residents on top.
oh, I see what you mean. I think it would be, they'd present the full plan of what they want to do, and then we'd work off that in phases. So it's not like they would make a
That's what I meant,
development
yeah,
and
they're
then
gonna-
add on addition after that.
Okay.
I don't think this is asking for approval of the full plan. It's taking a segment of it and beginning something and seeing if it works.
Yeah.
They're very open to work with us on however or whatever we need. We need the brain power of you guys to come up. They asked us, like, with the amount of homes they're talking and residents, they said, well, what about medical facilities? What kind of businesses would we need in there to help support them? And for something of this size, we're going to start having to look at that, and that's where, we're going to need to look at all those things. But it's best to start working with them when they're ready to start talking. But these guys they're serious.
This is really exciting to me because this is exactly what we've been looking for, and this is exactly what part of our plan was envisioning. So this is really exciting to me. Playing devil's advocate, because I know not all members are here of the board and RTC, but I know just resounding some past concerns that were brought up were zoning and just the 55 plus versus workforce, those sorts of things, and we've said, hey, master plan in the RTC area would need a change in zoning because current zoning doesn't allow that. And I think that's exactly what we wanted to look at and why. because in changing that, we can allow these sorts of things. And I think that's where our brain power comes in of how do we best change that? Do we want to, curtail it so that you can't do 3 stories? Because I know that was something that some people, brought about. Are you only doing 2 stories, longer units or more units, things like that. So I think that's definitely something that we can all bring our brain power behind and help, fashion that design and how we want that zoning to look. But I think it definitely brings up the point that, yes, I think the current code needs to change in those specific areas to allow for a development like this. That's exactly what we're looking for. I had another thought too, and I'll think of it because I forgot it.
Did the proponents have any examples of what they've done elsewhere to show you, for example?
We saw very basic building plans of what they, like the designs of what some like triplex units might look like. But it's
Have they
just
done
to
it?
give us an idea of
Have they
how-
done it before?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
several large other.
And did they have any examples of what they've done before?
They can provide those, but yes, they've done several large projects in other areas, yes.
So they were just prospecting.
I wouldn't say prospecting there. It was a little more than that. Mark, you would talk to them after the fact.
There's a lot that the 3 of us can't talk about with this development group. They asked us not to, and we agreed. They are very serious about getting involved in Rome.
Yeah.
They like the idea. And I brought up the RTC, and we started talking about that. The emphasis there was senior housing. And there's something else in the works that before they can start talking to us about the RTC, they gotta get something else done.
Mm-hmm.
But they will be back.
Okay.
I guarantee that
Yeah.
from our talking with them.
Do they have any kind of a time frame?
No,
Okay, so we're,
they've got, like I said, they've got something else.
something else going on.
They gotta finish before they start in on the RTC.
So what's the decision train here? They've talked with the town board, apparently. How do you
One-
involve the plan commission, the town, RTPC? I mean, who makes the decisions? Who talks to whom?
So when there's a development in Rome Town Center, they would go through the buying process of the land with you guys. They would give their presentation of what they plan to do, what their development.
CDA.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're not a CDA right now. They'd go through CDA. That's my brain. They'd go through CDA for the land purchase and the initial development plans. And they'd go through Plan Commission for the approval of the land use. And again, the development plan, site plan, plan of operation, and then on to town board for the final approvals. And then I just wanted to touch on Tiffany's point earlier. So with the zoning changes and ordinance changes for this project specifically, again, we don't have a timeline, so maybe we do it all prior, but it would be a really good starting point to work with them on how we're going to change the ordinance, especially for this senior type development.
Yeah.
So it would kind of go hand in hand, not changing it for this project to meet them, but to ensure that they're meeting what we want.
Right. But I think this is a classic example of what we've seen in the past and what we know we're looking at, that, hey, if we want these guys to come in and bring in the sorts of developments that we're hoping for in this area, we can't move forward with them unless we start addressing some of those zoning changes. And so I think this really brings to light, like, hey, we gotta get our feet to the ground here. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this, I mean, beating it would be one thing, but we'd be able to work with them since they're trying to meet our expectations for a development like this. So we can work with them on that, but I agree, this is like being rezoning the town or the Rome Town Center to ensure that the zoning meets where we want developments like this. Because like we discussed, right now the zoning, we'd probably rezone to make sure that this development's in the right location.
Right. Yeah, and we've talked several times about knowing that the current 55 plus area is maybe not exactly where we would want that. We want it closer to the central hub of the business activity in the town center, so it's more walkable for our 55 plus patrons in that area. And so taking a look at all of those areas and seeing how can we refashion things, knowing there's the light industrial area. Maybe we don't need a specific light industrial area because that's not something that's really gonna likely to come here. We know
Or maybe we don't want it here.
right.
Yeah. But that's the point.
Would this be a planned unit development?
No. It would meet our, I think it's senior residential, it would meet one of our sub-districts in Rome Town Center. It would not be a planned unit development.
But you can have a PUD within the, that's okay.
Kind of, but we would want to make sure that they are meeting what we want for our senior development district. So it'd be, I don't think we'd go the PUD route for this.
In the packet that was included in our thing from Tiffany, on page 4, it says, why are we here? 2019 to 24 Town of Rome Strategic Plan. Long-term goals. I guess this would be addressing the town board. It says 3 years, business park sewer system. I've been a business owner in there for 12 years. This has been shot around with every town chairman we've had. There's been numbers done. Jamie's did it. The guy before you. Where's this board on thinking of sewer? Because I guess I'm a little concerned with it because eventually you're going to want all these existing businesses to tie into it. And all of these newer existing businesses have current septic systems that are basically brand new. I see it under a 3-year plan. Is the board considering septic system, sewer system in that? I mean, it's been talked about for decades.
Thank you, because that was my second thought that I forgot.
The current board hasn't addressed this. Again, we've been looking at numbers, like you said, over the years, and we're been overwhelmed with the cost to implement it. We're talking to these folks; they are familiar with the septic systems and pouts, and they had no problem working within the current structures, I guess, as it were at this point.
So they look at pouts for the 100-unit development.
Yeah, and they're very open. They were just throwing out there 50 units, 100 units. I mean, it could be 25. I don't know. That's where it's going to be worth you folks and coming up with the space.
It's a probability. For that kind of a development.
Yeah, but it's. There's other details I can't go into, but they're familiar with a lot of our zoning, and they were very accommodating, working with what we have in place already.
I mean, I almost feel we have to get the sewer system off the table. If the town wanted a sewer system, it was something they should have put in before the roads were put in. They could have gave up 40 acres in the back somewhere and put in a huge pout system. To come back through and do it now is not feasible anymore, and then we have to take it somewhere.
Well, it would be, it would be similar to the way that they've developed in Sand Valley. They have their own pouts. And a development here would operate the same way. It would develop its own power system. They would run it as their own utility internally to the development. It would not be a town-owned facility unless we agreed to somewhere down the line to take it on. That's everything that would be discussed as you're going through that process. Precisely. And I don't think we're talking the necessity for a sewer system in any of the development that we perceived. We never talked sewer because we didn't think that was a feasible
the cost
operation.
prohibitive,
Yeah, we knew all along in doing this
We knew there were going to be
that-
infrastructure issues, but we didn't look at a full-fledged sanitary sewer system.
Yeah. Again, you had issues with a sewer in the past because where yours is located and what you would have to probably move it if we put a sewer line in on the one side of the property, if I remember correctly.
Well, yeah, because in the town ordinance now, they want them in the rear of your buildings, not on the street side, so all of the existing buildings, all of our nasties go towards the back of our property, and then all of a sudden now, with the sewer system, you're gonna want them all to go to the front of the properties. It'll pretty much bankrupt all the small businesses that are trying to make it in that business park now, because we can't afford $20,000, $30,000 to tee into this new system. So I agree with Bill that if you want to do your 100-unit place, you got to lot your green space, and you can have grass over these things.
Yep.
But I just saw it on the plan here in the 3 years, and I wanted to get the town board's opinion on that. It's not something that people are actively pursuing bids on and thinking about it.
No.
And if they're
Board's
not
had no
doing it
discussion on
now,
it.
I'll be out of here before it comes in. I understand the development, okay? But on the flip side of everything, we do need some housing. But I guess I don't want to see the entire business park turned into housing, because then we're going to want businesses here, and there's going to be nowhere to put the businesses to operate with the new residents. For the last, when did this start? 30 years ago, it was always trying to draw businesses, and it really seems in the last 3 to 5 years, the focus is really being shifted to finding affordable housing. Well, we all know Rome's not affordable. So if you're looking for affordable housing, I guess there's the surrounding Big Flats, Adams Friendship, those are more affordable. Nakusa's more affordable. If we're looking for affordability, Rome has never really been that affordable. So if we're gonna do something, I think they need to be more on the higher end side. And age restriction, well, everybody keeps talking about employee housing. Well, if we have age restriction, we're knocking out the employee housing.
I don't agree with any of that at all. I think that's kind of a stop in your tracks train of thought. We've talked at Lightum about how if we have all of these businesses that are suffering because they can't get a cook, they can't get a waitress, that's a problem. And we've talked about how if we can't, nobody is going to drive here to bartend for even $10 an hour 30 minutes away. And so we do need to have some sort of affordable housing for workforce to help support businesses. We don't have enough businesses for businesses if we don't have more people here. So it all goes hand in hand. I don't think anybody's looking at giving away the entire Rome Town Center for all of businesses or all of housing. We're trying to make that perfect marriage. That's the point of the whole plan, is to guiding that. We want more of both. We need more of both to help everybody sustain everybody. Is the crux of Rome affordable? To a certain price point, certain, homeowner, yes. To some lower end homeowners, no. But that's kind of the point of being able to bring that in, is to help marry that circle so we can help businesses sustain. There's all of our restaurants around here struggle with being able to keep employees here. And so that's something that we need to help put forth and provide. And the town center is the perfect way to help centralize that so that we don't have maybe, a $150,000 house or an apartment unit next to a $600,000 house out in the middle of Arrowhead. That's not what that area is designed for, or around the lake. So, I think that this is the perfect opportunity to be able to help make that circle go around. And, so we need to be open to that kind of thinking.
What are we defining as affordable or workforce housing?
There's not been a definition to that. So to me, that would be, $150,000 house or a rentable apartment. We don't want something that's a shambles. We don't want something that's $600 a month. But having something that would be affordable to a waitress and a cook who are, you know, a husband and wife and their 2 kids to live here. That's something that we're not centrally able to provide in this town, but those are the families and the workers that we need to help sustain our businesses.
Wouldn't the apartments be providing that, since we have apartment complexes down there?
There is, and it does, but they were sold out before they were ever finished building them.
Yep.
So there's still a need.
Yeah,
I get, okay.
yeah.
And but the apartments are a perfect
exactly.
example
Yeah.
of affordable housing
Okay.
for
I
the
just
workforce.
I wanted to make sure I knew
Because we have
what we were talking about.
We have the CEO of Gunderson living there, as well as clerks that work over at Quick Trip.
Yeah,
So that's
We just need more of that.
gotcha. Okay.
Who's that?
Shoot.
Yep.
Thank you. She was giving the definition of affordable housing.
Yeah.
Barely.
So, I guess, I guess the reason I was asking, because that 30% of an income is different for everyone.
Right. And I think in calculating that, you know, that takes a little bit of homework too on our ends when we're developing our plan and what does that affordable housing look like, those apartments. Okay, let's calculate what a waitress and a cook in, you know, at Cal's would make together and, you
There you
know,
go.
take in account 30% of that.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, so we definitely know that zoning is definitely a huge focus in our plan moving forward, which we already knew had that in here. So I think there's homework on our ends as far as, you know, that's concerned, and bringing together a plan and proposing that. So it's definitely one step, especially knowing these developers coming in. You know, Pouts, we know that's kind of a singular item that each developer has to take into account. I guess what would be some other specific concerns kind of moving forward from that you've seen in the current master plan that we know that we can fix, move forward so that we can get the plan solidified and then start making changes around there, or proposed changes?
In discussions with them yesterday, they seemed extremely flexible on anything. We did mention, I think, about workforce housing. We didn't mention apartments, but I got a feeling that they could handle pretty much anything because their expertise
Yeah.
flows along those lines. So I'm guessing too, you probably ought to meet with them sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Just get an overview, and then just you know, again, what are the needs? You can explain to them. You can go back and forth much better than we can.
Yeah.
You know, what their needs are, what they're looking for, and just start getting a long-range plan going so that they know what to look for when they're done with their other projects. But, yeah, it was, it just seemed like a huge opportunity for us.
Yeah. And I guess my question for that would be, just because I'm not, I'm hearing that there's a little bit of privacy here during a certain stage, in the thoughts of trying to move things forward. It sounds like really a great idea to speak with them, because that might be able to help us in being able to move forward and reevaluate plan and certain items, next steps. So what would that look like as far as the RTC meeting with these folks, given the privacy? I get that probably wouldn't want to be a public meeting.
It could be public. Why not?
It could be public, but
The
I
other thing
think
is
it's
site.
better to sit down and talk with you about
Okay.
the RTC.
Okay.
Like I said, they got something else in the work before they we start looking at the RTC.
Okay. So I think I would just look back at you guys for that timing direction on when they've gotten this other step in the works and they're able to meet with us.
Right there.
Then we can. All right, now I'm looking back at you again.
Emily is the key.
Let me put it, they also intend to work quickly.
Okay.
They're moving forward quickly.
Awesome. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do they want from the town?
Yeah.
Yep.
So they don't want a TIF?
Nope.
They don't want financial help?
They
They don't want
apparently
the
have-
land to be given to them?
No, none of that. No, they're working within the confines we have here. They also they adjusted about the affordability, but they also said they're not going to put shacks in there. They would be moderately priced, but they would look nice. They would make sure that they conformed for the folks they're designed for.
Right. And I think that's a perfect thought in keeping in mind with our 55 plus community is it looking nice, being an ideal price point for them because there is that community and that price point that can afford those golf course side homes, but then there's a price point of I want to stay here, but I on a fixed income now and I can't afford that golf course side home. So I think that's perfect.
They threw out some numbers. We're not going to repeat them, but I mean they know their stuff.
Awesome.
We keep touching back on the zoning and stuff. Zoning, we got to do this with zoning, that with zoning. What's the most lenient zoning the town has? Why don't we just rezone all the property that's left the same zoning? I mean, if we just did commercial or if we just did commercial / multifamily, I mean, wouldn't that just
So
wipe out all this rezoning this section, and then when the developer's ready to come in, it's all zoned the same, then the CDA can sort of steer them towards what they think would be the best property, and then they go through the rest of the process.
yeah, so the issue with that is
Sounds really easy, doesn't
it
it?
sounds
Yeah.
like the best. But with that, then you're
opens up
gonna
Pandora's
get
box.
you can't say no to a permitted
Right.
use. So then you're gonna get storage unit because they're gonna want to come in and fill all this land every
Okay.
single buyer that you get.
Yeah.
I didn't think of the storage unit scenario.
And then in the middle of all that, you would get like a strip joint and then a bar, and we don't want any
No,
of that.
no, you won't get that because it's only allowed in a certain part of town.
Yeah.
That, and we don't have any liquor licenses, so.
That's true.
But yeah, so if we do
I
sub-district it,
understand if you just zoned it all commercial, then you open the Pandora's box of the storage units.
yeah, well, or, I mean, even other
Pandora
development, where
boxes.
it's this or this, then you're gonna get all housing, or, yeah.
I think you need to approach at least this first one on an individual basis and not go beyond that and not look at the whole RTC.
Yes.
I think you just deal with this project in this, just to get us foothold and give us a chance to look at what do we need to change in the zoning in order to accommodate this kind of a
Right, but
development.
this project, this is prelim stages. This
Right.
project could be 2 to 3 years out before they really get serious if they have another project to finish or something. It's not, from what I've heard from them, it doesn't sound like they're going to be back here ready to break ground this summer or anything. Oh,
We don't know.
Wink.
I'm hearing that once they go, they want to go.
Yeah.
They don't want to sit. So there would be best if we could do a lot of preliminary things before they want to walk through the door.
Yeah, and I like we said, we want to rezone to make sure that they are located where we want to locate them, and we can start looking at the zoning to do a kind of a mass rezone to have our our main commercial district along the main roads and kind of fill things in all with that rezone.
Right.
We don't need to just do this one and
Right.
then
We
just do this
can look at
district.
accommodating commercial zoning along the street level where we want to have commercial development.
Yes.
We can start forcing that issue.
I agree. I got a crazy idea. For the next meeting we're here, instead of us operating on these maps, we should have a nice big 2x3 map that we can see it laid out that
Yeah.
okay, let's make this square here, and we could write on if we don't, and then dry erase it off. Because we can all get little ideas from here, but seeing it laid out, like on a 2x3 dry erase board or something, that's something you can say, well, why don't we take this section of light industrial over here? This might make a good spot for it, because a lot of us are looking at these little, just more of a visual person.
I can bring big maps.
You know, just, and then we can
Yeah.
say this place is looking at, say, I don't know, say 30 acres or 20 acres. You know, we have some idea where to draw a line, and this could be rezoned to this section. And then something to that effect.
I do really
Because there's
like
not
that
a
idea.
whole lot, when you take out, I mean, we're already basically, if you look at this map, we're already basically half done. I mean, the front half of the park, besides some lots in between, and I don't think we're talking about changing anything like next to Advantage Plumbing and stuff right now up in that section. I think we're sort of talking from like Geneva, the street the church is on,
Behind it.
going towards the Snow
Going to the
Bandits
east.
building.
Right.
So, because this front section's pretty much, besides a few lots in between people, it's pretty much done. You can't really do much up there. Okay.
I really like, I think that's the best course of action to move forward with any of the zoning is exactly that, bring in some big blown up maps. I'm a visual person myself, so I totally get it. And
I mean-
dry erase, sticky note,
Because from a conversation, it seems like we have senior housing back here, and from the conversation we've had tonight, it seems like senior housing is going to end up more, if my pen's in the right spot, more over here, not over here.
Right.
Yep.
So if we're going to move it up there, then we can make this, get rid of senior housing there and make that whatever.
Yep.
Combine with the zoning next to it, I guess,
I think we should focus on where there is roads.
Right.
Yes.
which would be exactly where my pen was, because
Yeah.
Timberline goes through now.
Right.
Well,
So
and
that
by
would
the-
be a pretty,
By the church, there's a lot of accessible acreage. So working with what we have, accessible.
So what I would say, Emily, is if for the next meeting, if we could get, my thought initially is 2 blown up maps, one of the current zoning, and then one what we have in the current RTC master plan proposal, so that we know what do we need to change from what we have here that Cardo helped do. Because I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel, but let's kind of combine the two and figure out what needs to get changed where.
Yeah.
So I think working off those, if we could get those 2 big maps, that would be a great item for the next meeting.
Do you have that as an individual PDF that you could send me?
If I don't, I can get it from Patrick.
Okay,
He's super. I had to email back and forth change because my email broke, so I don't know what I have where. So if I don't have the PDF version of it, I'll get it from him.
Everybody spoke yesterday.
Mine
It
was
went down.
the week of Thanksgiving.
Oh,
My
We all went down yesterday.
email decided to have an issue, and yeah.
I think another thing that we could start discussing, at least at our next meeting, is what do we want for senior housing? I heard that coming out. What they're going to ask us, what we want. So we should be ready to answer that question.
Yeah.
Okay.
That can be the first ordinance that we look at.
Right.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Guys, I thought this meeting was going to go until 5:30, so keep it coming.
so Carl, correct me if I'm wrong. If we look at these maps and we make decide what changes we want, then we make the recommendation to the Plan Commission, because they have to decide if
If it's a zoning change,
Yeah, zoning changes go through Plan Commission.
and then the Plan Commission, if they agreed with us, would make a recommendation to the town board, and you guys would ultimately approve the zoning change.
Correct.
The CDA has nothing to do with zoning changes.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, CDA is involved once there's a developer looking at a specific land and project.
I think we're ready to move forward.
Yeah. Sounds like a good start moving forward.
I'd like to have them here, but Mark keeps saying they don't want to come here. I would like to have them at our next meeting, just to answer any questions. I think that would.
Both wanted it.
I mean, I would like to see that.
I'll talk to them and see when they're comfortable coming in and talking to you guys, okay? Because it's going to be the plan. In the meantime, you can come up, what do you want? Come up with your ideas so that when they come in and ask questions, you have answers for them. But I'll talk to them and see what their interest is. They are.
Because it's going to be give and take. What do you want us to do for you? And what do you, I mean, we have to know.
You answered it. I'm not going to say anything more.
Okay.
I agree, we need to decide the zoning, so we have some idea there. And then while we're talking about that, there's gonna be vehicles, we're gonna have to approach the garage or no garage issue. How many, just, if we're gonna set the precedent,
We're gonna go garage. If these people are living, think about it. We're not an assisted living.
I agree. I agree. I liked your answer. But with the apartments, they have garages, but there's also a lot of outdoor parking too.
I understand, yeah.
I mean, which isn't, they don't, which with the apartments, they really don't park on the streets at all. I mean, he's provided enough pavement and garages that they are off at the street, but there are a lot of cars outdoor. But I think if we get into senior housing and stuff, they should have an attached garage or underground parking or something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just bringing it up for discussion with the zoning part.
If these people are experienced developers, they will tell you what they want based on what they have found to be a successful business model that works for them. They've got a nut to crack, a financial nut to crack. They'll tell you how many units minimum that they need to have, and they should be able to tell you what the build out is on the end of that. I mean, they know what they want to do.
That's the way the apartment approached it.
And what we basically need to do is determine among ourselves that, yes, we're going to cluster the commercial part around the town center. The surrounding area is going to be residential. How do we get from the residential to the town center? Legs or car. And then you work with the developer in making it all work.
Yep.
It's simple.
They asked if we had services here, transportation services. Yeah, they know what they're doing, so.
Yep. I'm excited about
Did
it.
you tell them I'm ready to do Uber?
Awesome.
Well, that sounds exciting. It does. It's good.
Do we have a next meeting date in mind?
Rolling up the very many pages on here. Okay, so we can move on to number 8, the next agenda items. So I think sounds to me going over the maps to address current versus proposed zoning needs would be one item, and then looking at what do we want for senior housing and any ordinance changes that we need to be made in regards to that. I think if time allows, maybe even touching on what do we want in terms of workforce housing as well, because it sounds like this is something that these folks are wanting to look at in a whole. And I think if we're addressing how much we're looking at for senior housing, maybe touch on workforce housing as well. And this is RTC, so that other agenda item doesn't need to go on there.
Next meeting.
Yeah, because Pat will be CDA. Okay, gotta keep those separate.
You got confused too.
Yep.
I will be gone for that then.
So, well,
The middle of January I'm gone, so if we went beginning or. like
what
the
dates are you
9th.
on?
I'm gone from the 8th to the 18th.
So the
I was looking
21st
at
would
the
work?
21st.
Oh, the 21st? Yeah.
Not for you.
I'll be in Hungary.
Oh,
It's cold there. Tell Dan to take me places when it's warmer.
How about 7th?
You want to keep it on Wednesday afternoons?
That's a good day for the
I mean,
Boardroom.
it works, it's a good day for me, but
What date, the 21st?
No, we're back to the 7th.
7th of January. Which is a Wednesday?
That works.
Okay,
At
4
4.
o'clock?
Yes.
Is there any way you could push it to 3 o'clock, or is that inconvenient for a lot of people? Or is the board?
I think it depended on the
It's,
boardroom.
it's available.
works.
It's just my kid's 21st birthday. I want to take him out to eat that night. So,
Oh, you're going to do more than just eating.
Move-
he's got to fly to Florida.
I'm
the next
guessing 3 o'clock would work for Heather. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, because she doesn't have anything on Wednesdays.
Okay. so
3 o'clock is fine for me, yeah.
3 o'clock now?
Works for the board.
I was the only one trying to push it back to 4 because it gave me a little breathing room, but I can do 3.
We go back to 4 from
No,
then on.
I can do 3
Okay.
if that works for everybody.
That's the one day, though.
Emily likes 3.
I like 3.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of the people that have to be here.
So January 7th, 3 p.m.
Yep.
Okay, let me.
Mark,
Okay.
so we don't have any kind of a time frame when these guys want to come and talk to us, huh?
We adjourned before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if this was part of the RTC, if you
motion
needed
to
anything
adjourn.
else.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Capital.
Oh,
So
you
you
did?
need a
Oh,
second.
second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed?
Don't talk until I turn the cameras on.
Okay, now turn them off.
Did they vote?